And not like ghosts. I mean the spirits, like the Great Crow and the Golden Eagle and Nonobojo the Trickster, the Great Bear. The spirits, man. I was talking to them for real.
And they just showed up and they're like, so, how's it hanging?
No. Charles, I was at the gym earlier today, getting on my fitness.
Where are you?
And I asked, one of the trainers was there.
Yeah.
And I asked him, dude, which machine should I use if I want to attract the hottest women? And he said, the ATM machine is right outside.
Welcome to Two Gaming Dudes.
The drunkest or highest or most intoxicated we've ever been. Charles, this was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
This was just a few weeks ago.
Oh, so this happened very recently. See, for me, it was a long time ago. Like, the drunkest I've ever been was a long time ago.
All right.
And it was at... Now we know it as Dave and Buster's, but back then there was a place called GameWorks.
It was GameWorks before Dave and Buster's, yes.
And so if you don't know, it was like an arcade, like a classic style arcade, but all the arcade machines had drink holders for all of your beer and other things.
Uh-huh.
And they got me this tall glass. It was blue, and it was called a blue mother effer. I had no idea what that meant, but I drank it. It was like this tall, too. And afterwards, everybody was laughing. They're like, drink another one. So I did. Man, I was... You can't play video games when you're that drunk.
No,
You can't do anything.
can't.
I could barely walk. That was so bad. And all I remember from it at the time, I smoked. And on the drive home, I was trying to have a cigarette, and I couldn't figure it out. I lit it, so it's on fire. But I can't find my face.
Ow!
I can't feel my face. So I roll down the window, and I flick it out the window. Well, we're going like 80 miles an hour down the freeway, so it goes out my window, in the back window, and hits my buddy right in the head as he's back there. And so he starts panicking, and there's like sparks coming off him from my cigarette, and I thought that was the funniest thing.
It is funny.
To be fair, I probably would be laughing sober,
But it's more funny when you're drunk.
but it was definitely more funny drunk.
Like these girls. I'm not a heavy drinker.
Right.
I like other stuff that comes from the earth.
It's more natural.
And in many places, it's now, approved for medical use or recreational use.
Or available at your local 7-Eleven. I'm not kidding.
And there are many ways to ingest these intoxicants. Mm-hmm. So a few weeks ago, I tried all of them at once.
I'm sorry, what?
All of them at once. And Charles, I'm telling you, about an hour into it, I could commune with the spirits.
What have you done?
And not like one of those times where you're so messed up that you think this was real, like they were for real talking to me. And not like ghosts. I mean the spirits, like the Great Crow and the Golden Eagle and Nonobojo the Trickster, the Great Bear. The spirits, man. I was talking to them for real.
And they just showed up and they're like, so, how's it hanging?
No. The Great Spirit was explaining to me how the Indians were unprepared for the changes that were coming to their world. Like, they had no way to predict that Europeans were just going to completely change their way of life.
Or show up and give everyone AIDS.
Yeah, like, destroy their way of life, right? And
Yeah.
They had no way to possibly be prepared for these changes. And he was explaining to me, for example, the first Indian that felt the cold of harsh winters when the white man brought winters with them from Europe, he had no sensation, he had no way to process that feeling of extreme cold.
Okay.
And then I thought to myself, well, so he did a prayer to the Great Spirit. And the prayer was this: Teotaka, holy shit, I'm cold. Teotaka, it's so fucking cold.
Leave your hate comments down below.
But then it started wearing off. And I was starting to think clearly again. And I realized, well, first I recorded it because I was afraid
Okay. Are you going to actually edit that
I'll
in?
edit it, but it makes no sense. The first Indian that felt cold when the white man brought it over from Europe with him. And he gave out a prayer to the Great Spirit. Teo te kate, I'm so fucking cold. But it was enough to trigger my memory.
Okay.
I realized, wait a minute, how would the white man bring winter with him? They had winters in North America. But white man didn't bring winter with him. before the white man came. And then I started thinking even more clearly, like, maybe this isn't really the Great Spirit. What if it's just some guy fucking with me? That's the highest I've ever been.
Wow. Well, I've never drank myself to the point of spirits visiting me. That's a new one.
Other than the usual is like, I'm in the shower and I can't tell if my ass is still lathery or if I've rinsed it. And I'm sitting there, I'm rinsing. And I feel it's still soapy. And I'm rinsing. Like half an hour goes by and it's still soapy.
Now, see, the worst I've ever gotten on that was when you have those moments where, like, that's the most brilliant idea I have ever had. I'm a genius that I just came up with this brilliant idea. And then you wake up the next morning, you're like, oh, man, I had a brilliant idea. I can't think of what it was. I just remember it was brilliant. And then it'll be like, my wife will be like, yeah, you said, wouldn't it be cool if we had a poopy poop that when you pooped in it said gobble gobble? You're a genius.
It's a great idea. If you rigged some kind of sensor to your toilet, that's a perfect potty training. Kids would love that. It goes gobble gobble. Or when you're pissing in it, it goes slurp slurp slurp.
That would be awesome.
You put like googly eyes on the side of the toilet and a smiley face.
I mean, for a lot of people, that might be like their sexual awakening. They might be like, this is all, I have to have this now every time. But otherwise, what a great idea.
See, on that line, I remember very clearly a time for the first channel that got shut down. We thought it would be a good idea to get high as hell and record the show high as hell.
I remember. And at the time, we were like, this is the best episode we have ever recorded.
It wasn't just one. We did like 12 episodes that night. 12 episodes, and all of them just fantastic. Killer comedy.
Nailing it.
Killer shit. 12 episodes in one. And then I went back the next morning and looked at them. They were all like 2-second long episodes. They were always, welcome to the channel. Click subscribe.
Bye.
That was the whole episode. We did 12 episodes like that. So it really wasn't that great.
And one episode where we just stared at the camera, confused, wondering what we just did. And then someone just said, click subscribe.
I love marijuana more than these girls love being drunk as hell. But I also love hot girls that are drunk as hell. Because they do funny shit like this.
I got nothing, man. And down you go. I've done plenty of that. I've done plenty of trip into things and fall over stuff. I've done lots of that. I've stumbled out of a bar with my friends, and 3 girls walked by, and I immediately turned around and walked after them, professing my eternal love.
Love you.
I love you so much.
Love you too.
I love you. And then tripped over myself, fell on my face, vomit, and then people had to carry me home. But
I went out for a night on the town in West Hollywood with my buddy Stan, and we intentionally didn't drive for 2 reasons. 1, you can't find fucking parking. And if you find a parking spot in front of your apartment, you don't want to give it up. So, and then 2, we didn't want to get pulled over drunk.
fair.
So we rode our bicycles to the bar.
Bicycle, I'm on my
Bicycle. So we ride our bikes to the bar, get demolished, and then we're riding home. And I get a call at like 3 a.m. It's Stan. He's like, Mikey, I don't know where I am. I ate shit on my bike. Like, well, where are you? He said, I don't know. I was riding home from the power station. The name of the bar was the power station. I'm like, all right, I'll come out and I'll try to find you. So I go out, I get on my bike and I'm going to go find him. But I'm still drunk, so I can't really ride. And I'm like, I should retrace my steps. So I went back to the bar and figured if I'm riding back to Stan's house, what is the most likely route I would take? And he wasn't on any of that route. So I'm like, what is the second most likely route? And eventually I found him. His bike was here. And he was lying down in a pile of garbage in an alley. He's lying down in a pile of garbage like this girl is on the bush.
Oh, no. And he's just like, I gave up. I live here now.
I'm like, what, your bike's right over there. You didn't try to get up. He's like, no, I was just going to wait for you. Because I'd already called you. And that makes perfect sense.
I've had a couple of were you drunk moments where you realize they weren't drunk. This just is a thing that happened. Everything from watching my buddy in the passenger side of the vehicle, we're going like 75, 80 miles an hour down the freeway. He wears glasses and he stuck his head out the window to be funny and then pops his head back in to scream, "Stop the car!
My fucking glasses!" I remember that so clearly. Now, I should admit, that might have been a little bit of a setup. Because he wasn't doing it as a goof. We had a bunch of electronics gear in the back.
Yes.
And it started raining. And I said, "Hey, Wayne, why don't you stick your head out the window and make sure the tarp is still covering the stuff?" "Okay."
And then his glasses just went...
"Stop my fucking glasses!"
And for whatever reason, we did stop. And we did pull over. As if his glasses were just going to be there. You're like, we covered 5 miles before I stopped.
Those things are liquid by now if they're anywhere around here.
Man.
That was great.
Yes. So, we want to know from you the drunkest moment you can remember. You got to post that down there. Or a moment where you kind of wondered, are you drunk right now? Put that down there. I want to read those.
Yeah, that'll be some
And if they're really good, we might actually
stories.
read them live and comment on those.
There's some stories out there that are just beyond belief, man.
We've had ours. Now you tell us yours. And don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you in another episode.
Bye, guys.
Later.